Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back into the show, Crushing Fantasy Football. I am Bryce, your host. Today, guys, I'm super stoked because it's the best day of the year, baby. Draft day. I hope you guys are as excited as I am, man. I'm drafting in my biggest league tonight, and I know a lot of you guys have your draft tonight because it's the final weekend before the season. So I'm here to give you guys some last-second draft advice. All right, guys, we're going to be talking about rounds 5 through 8 because, guys, these are what separate the men from the boys. Everybody knows who to take with their first picks because they've all researched that, but people get lazy and they don't research the mid to later rounds. Rounds 5 through 8 is where you can really separate yourself from the rest of the field. And that's what's going to help you take home the trophy this year because I want you guys to win. I want myself to win. And so we're going to help each other out here, guys. I'm going to start talking about what you need for rounds 5 through 8. First, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. That's going to help me grow my channel. All right, guys? So, rounds 5 through 8 are going to be about adding depth at your wide receiver and running back positions and getting a really good flex player. Okay, guys, a flex player can make a huge difference in your league because a lot of people, they're so focused on filling out their starting lineup and, you know, they start drafting tight ends and quarterbacks and stuff before they get a good flex, which is absolutely asinine, guys. Do not do this. Do not reach for a quarterback before round 8. Kyler Murray might be the only exception. You could take him in round 8 if he's there, but some idiot in your league is going to draft him in the 5th round, so it doesn't matter anyway. So, some great running backs and wide receivers that are on the board in the 5th round. If you're in a softer league, Kareem Hunt should still be on the board. In more advanced leagues, I guarantee you he gets scooped up earlier. But, guys, if Kareem Hunt is on the board in the 5th round, he's the absolute first player you need to take. This guy is a beast. He's basically Nick Chubb. He gets only about 65% of the carries that Nick Chubb gets, but he gets a lot of passing work, and he's look, these guys are equal in talent, okay? When you're talking about a talent standpoint, Kareem Hunt is just as good as Nick Chubb. He's going to have a lot of scoring opportunities being in the extremely efficient offense that he's in. The Browns have an extremely good offensive line. This is going to be a very high-powered offense, possibly the best offense in football. Kareem Hunt is going to score a lot of touchdowns and catch a lot of passes. He's going to be a PPR monster this year. He's the first player you need to scoop up if he's there in the 5th round. He is absolutely the first player you need to scoop up, okay? Some other great players that are going to be on the board in rounds 5 through 8. We're looking at Myles Gaskin. We're looking at T. Higgins. We're looking at Laviska Shenault. We're looking at Chase Claypool. Guys, there's some really good wide receivers on the board right now. And these are players you need to scoop up on your team because these guys could end up being wide receiver ones for their team. Okay, guys, I'm big on Laviska Shenault this year. I think a lot of y'all can figure out why. Look at who's throwing him the ball, okay? Trevor Lawrence is the real deal, guys. I watched him a little bit in the preseason. Yeah, it's preseason. He's playing against, third-string defenses. But, guys, we know how good this guy's going to be. And Laviska Shenault's an alpha male wide receiver. He's going to be the number 1 wide receiver on Jacksonville by week 4. You can bank on it. Mark my words, he's the number 1 receiver on the team even before the halfway point of the season, okay? He's the most talented receiver they have. The dude has an alpha build. He's durable. He's going to stay healthy for you, and he's going to get you a lot of fantasy points. He's got one of the best quarterbacks in football throwing on the ball. Yes, Trevor Lawrence is already one of the best quarterbacks in football, all right? So scoop up Laviska Shenault. He's going to be a beast, okay? Some other players I recommend getting are T. Higgins, okay? T. Higgins, he's got the second-year Joe Burrow coming back, throwing him the ball. The Cincinnati Bengals drafted 3 offensive linemen, guys. The offense should be significantly better. And T. Higgins is, a 6'4" beast wide receiver. He has the potential to be a wide receiver 1. He has that level of talent. And he's actually been, he's played some games in the NFL now, so he's experienced. And he's going to come in and have a huge season, guys. He's going to be the wide receiver 1 on the team. You're basically getting a Adam Thielen value at like the 65th pick by picking T. Higgins, which is absolutely unbelievable because, Adam Thielen's going, 38th, 39th, 40th in most drafts. And you're getting an Adam Thielen level wide receiver and T. Higgins, guys. You can mark my words, okay? So draft T. Higgins if he's on the board. Same deal with Laviska Shenault. He's an Adam Thielen value at like the 75th pick in the draft. Guys, you got to scoop this guy up. Another big one for me, guys, is Chase Claypool. Guys, Chase Claypool is part of a 3-headed monster. We all know that they have Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson, and they're all competing for targets, but Chase Claypool is a special player, guys, and eventually Big Ben is going to gravitate towards one wide receiver. It's not always going to be an equal target share between the 3. There's a really good chance that Chase Claypool busts out this year and is the clear-cut number 1 target for Ben Roethlisberger. That's why you see him going ahead of the other 2 receivers in most drafts. They're all pretty similar in ADP, but guys, Chase Claypool has a very good chance to end up being the breakout #1 wide receiver on this team. And, you know, they have Najee Harris. They still have Ben Roethlisberger throwing the ball. This is going to be an offense that scores a lot of points, and there's a good chance that Chase Claypool gets a large percentage of those touchdowns. And, guys, we want players that score touchdowns on our team. That's how you win, all right? So, draft Chase Claypool. I would fade Deontay Johnson and Juju Smith-Schuster because they're going around the same ADP, and they're not going to be as good of a receiver as Claypool is this season, okay? And some other guys that are slipping to the 5th round are Cooper Kupp and Brandon Ayuk. Guys, if these guys somehow slip to the 5th round in advanced leagues, bigger money leagues, it's not going to happen. But in some of your softer leagues or your average leagues, Cooper Kupp and Brandon Ayuk might slip to the 5th round. I've seen it happen in 2 of my leagues that I play in. Guys, these guys are a steal in the 5th round, okay? Cooper Kupp's got Matt Stafford throwing him the football, okay? Matt Stafford's a beast, guys. He's a little bit older now, but he's still an elite quarterback. And Cooper Kupp, you know, he was a little bit boomer bust in his past when Jared Goff was his quarterback. But the point is, he had huge games even with Jared Goff throwing on the ball. So just imagine his upside with Matt Stafford being his quarterback, okay? This dude is going to have some huge games. I think he's going to be a little bit less boomer bust and more consistent with Matt Stafford because Cooper Kupp is a very talented wide receiver. It's a Sean McVay offense, and now Sean McVay has a quarterback to work with. Guys, there's a chance that this offense ends up being really, really explosive, and Cooper Kupp could end up being the #1 target on the team. It's probably more of a split target share with him and Robert Woods, but Cooper Kupp is going to get a lot of targets. He's going to score a lot of touchdowns, guys. Draft Cooper Kupp if he's on the board in the 5th round. If Brandon Ayuk is on the board in the 5th round, this is the biggest wide receiver steal in the draft, hands down, no competition. This dude is primed for a huge season in his 2nd year in the league. This offense is going to be a little bit better than it was last year. And you know what? Brandon Ayuk is an alpha male wide receiver, guys. He has that talent to be that upside #1 wide receiver that you could actually end up plugging into your #1 wide receiver slot, and he's slipping to the 5th round in a lot of drafts, guys. This is absolutely insane. If he's on the board in the 5th round, you need to draft Brandon Ayuk, guys. Draft Brandon Ayuk, I tell you. All right? So those are a lot of the wide receivers. A running back that I want to talk about that's going to be probably going around the 7th round. Well, not the 7th round. I think his ADP moved up a little bit to like more of like a 6th round pick is Myles Gaskin, guys. Myles Gaskin is the #1 running back on his team. The Miami Dolphins offense is not very good, but it's going to be improved from last year. You know, Tua's coming into his 2nd year in the season, and a high draft round quarterback coming in for his 2nd season usually does pretty well. You know, we know that the guy has talent. They actually have their offense figured out this year. Last year, it was kind of a mess. They didn't know who was the starter. Is it Ryan Fitzpatrick? Is it Tua? They were kind of all over the place. This year, they have more of a solid plan in place. Tua's going to come in and light the league on fire in his 2nd year, guys. The Miami Dolphins offense is going to be significantly improved. I'm not saying that it's going to be an elite offense, but it's definitely going to be a decent offense. Myles Gaskin is going to eat because he's the #1 running back, and he's going to get in the end zone. I see somewhere around 6 to 8 touchdowns for Myles Gaskin, and he's going to get a lot of work. So, you know, if you want a player at your flex, it's going to give you those consistent 10 to 12 guaranteed points every week, so you don't have a dud at your flex, or so you don't have to worry about having no backup running back when one of your top guys goes down. Myles Gaskin is a great player to have to fill in for those situations, okay? And there's another one I want to talk about, and guys, this is the biggest steal, hands down, in the entire draft, is Kareem Hunt. Okay, if Kareem Hunt's on the board, you need to draft him right away. Also, another huge steal is going to be Rahim Mostert, okay? Rahim Mostert is going to be the #1 running back in San Francisco. This is a dude who's averaged 5.6 yards per carry since he's been in the league since 2015. Guys, we're talking about the most efficient running back in football, going off at, I think he's like 88th in ADP. Think about how crazy that is just to say, okay? The most efficient running back in the last 5 years is going 88th in ADP. This guy is a huge steal. It's such a huge steal, it's almost a joke. The fact that he's going 88th in the draft is absolutely ridiculous, guys. I would reach for him as early as the 6th round. He's going in the 8th or 9th round in most drafts, guys. If you get a chance to draft Rahim Mostert 6th round or later, you need to go ahead and scoop him up. This dude is going to be a massive upside running back. He could score a lot of touchdowns this year. And, they're worried about Trey Sermon cutting into his workload a little bit. But Rahim Mostert is too talented for them to take him off the field and just say, hey, it's going to be a split backfield. He's still going to get the majority of the carries. Now, my only concern with Rahim Mostert is he's been he's been very injury prone in his career. So drafting Trey Sermon a few picks after Rahim Mostert would be a good insurance policy, because if just one of those guys is healthy and playing, they're probably going to go off and be a big-time upside running back this year. So draft Rahim Mostert and Trey Sermon if you can. That's going to be the best approach as far as that's concerned. I like Tyler Boyd. The Bengals offense, like I said, is going to be improved. T. Higgins is going to eat, though. He's going to be the #1 receiver. But I still think that Tyler Boyd is going to get... he's going to be a serviceable flex player or backup #2 wide receiver for your team. So draft Tyler Boyd if you can. Another player that I like is Sony Michel, because, guys, he's on what's going to be a very explosive offense this year, like I mentioned when I was talking about Cooper Kupp. Darrell Henderson is set to be the #1 running back, but coaches, man, sometimes they just say things. I see this as more of a split backfield. I think he's going to get pretty similar amount of carries to Darrell Henderson Jr., who's projected to be a beast. I mean, Darrell Henderson Jr. is going off like 46th in drafts, and Sony Michel's going around like 93. Guys, this doesn't even make sense, okay? This is going to be a split backfield. Sony Michel is going to get just as many fantasy points as Darrell Henderson Jr., okay, because they're equal in talent, and Sean McVay is not just going to make Darrell Henderson the clear-cut one, despite what he says. This is a split backfield. It's not a Batman and Robin situation. These guys are both Batman. Draft Sony Michel. Do not draft Darrell Henderson early in drafts, okay, because you can get the same quality running back in Sony Michel at like the 93rd pick in the draft, guys. It's absolutely insane. So when you get a draft in the 7th or 8th round, if Sony Michel is there, you need to draft Sony Michel, guys. Draft Sony Michel, okay? So those are the keys, guys, to rounds 5 through 8. Make sure that you add wide receiver and running back depth and get a really big difference-making flex player. Hopefully Kareem Hunt if you can get it, but if not Kareem Hunt, try to scoop up Cooper Kupp or Brandon Iuke for your flex. If you could get one of these 3 guys at your flex, guys, your team is in a really good spot, all right? So that's my advice for draft day, guys. I'm super stoked, like I said. I want you guys to dominate your draft, so take this advice that I gave you and implement it in your draft tonight, okay? Take these pieces of advice to heart and use them in your fantasy draft, guys, all right? So that's going to be it for the video today. I want you guys to let me know how your draft goes tonight. I'm probably going to be doing a post-draft video. Like I said, my draft is at 7:30. It's probably going to be done around 9:30, so I'm probably going to do a post-draft video tonight. If not tonight, then tomorrow. I want you guys to let me know how your draft went. So that's going to be it for the video today. Click the subscribe button below. That's going to help me grow my channel, and I will see you guys tonight or tomorrow.